Hi, we're Brittany and Karah, your trauma-informed besties, here to illuminate a pathway of healing and empowerment for moms ready to live a life at their fullest potential. We've got the real talk from abuse to neglect to hardships of parenting, because you are not alone on your healing journey. And together, we can step out of the darkness and into the light because we are resilient moms. Welcome back to another incredible episode of Resilient Moms. Hi, Brittany.
Hello.
I'm really looking forward to this week's conversation. We have Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday.
So soon. Can you believe, it's already here?
No, I can't believe that Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I can't believe we just had Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little insane. Your kids are so cute. I loved their Nightmare Before Christmas
Thank
costumes. My son loves that. And he actually just got a Nightmare Before Christmas book.
Oh.
And he brought it home and said, Mom, once we finish, can we give it to Callie so she can read?
So sweet.
He's so sweet. I love him. So, yes, as soon as I saw the photos of your kids, I had to show him. And he's like, oh, I wonder if that was Aunt Britt who did it, or was it just Callie?
All Callie. All Callie.
He knows how obsessed with that show she is. So I thought that was so sweet. But I think that this is a really timely conversation that we're about to have, especially with Thanksgiving, just coming up in a couple days, and the holidays, Christmas, for our audience who don't celebrate Christmas, maybe it's Hanukkah. And so it's right around the corner. And I think gratitude is something that comes up a lot, or for others, maybe it doesn't come up enough. And so I really want to dive into this incredible gratitude conversation that you had mentioned to me. And, what is it about gratitude that helps us not only in our minds, but our daily lives, and how we can support our listeners in this?
Yeah. So gratitude, I feel like, has been part of my journey since trying to work on my mental health, my personal growth. Like, when I'm telling you I've read all of the books and listened to all of the podcasts, I do it. Like, I have an hour and a half commute every day, and that's all I do is listen to personal growth books, which is good and bad, because I know why and I know what I should do, and it doesn't always transfer to the application in my life. And gratitude was one of those practices. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yep. I'm going to be thankful for 3 things today, and I'm going to write it in my journal before bed. And I would look back on, I think I actually started it where I did it in the morning. I'm like, okay, what am I grateful for? Because I heard always start your day with gratitude. So I was like, what am I thankful for? And I'd write down, I'm thankful for the food in my fridge. I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for my house. And then I'd be on my merry way. And eventually I'd fall out of the practice. And then I started doing it at night so I could think about what I was grateful for just within that day. Because when I did it in the morning, I felt like I was just pulling stuff randomly, right? And so I continued to do it. And then I'd fall out of it and I'd stop doing it. And I think I stopped because I didn't feel a connection to that gratitude. I felt like I was writing a to-do list in a way.
You weren't connected to it at all.
Yes.
It was forced.
It was forced. It was a thing to do to, quote unquote, heal.
And check off that box.
Yeah.
Did I write down or talk about the things that I'm grateful for today?
Yes.
Oh, okay, I did it.
Did it, done. I should be a better person because I wrote it down. That's not how it works. And I don't know when I made that click. Maybe it was the consistency that every self-help book I read, every author, every podcast continued to bring up gratitude. And so then I was like, okay, they're not they're not just pulling it out of their ass. Where is it coming from? Right? Why do they keep saying it? It must work, or not every single person would be saying it. So I started doing my research, and maybe it's because of my background in education, but I need to know the why behind everything. So you tell me to write down gratitude. Why?
Mm-hmm.
How is it serving me? What's its purpose? And that's when I found out that it is actually helping change the neural pathways in your brain. You're laughing at me.
No, I mean, I think I'm laughing because I know you so well in the aspect that I was waiting for you to say that you researched it.
How many of you out there research why you gratitude?
I think I don't think my brain would have ever connected me to that next step. I think it would have taken me a different route, and we would have ended up in the same area. But because of your education piece, I love that you make that connection the connection that you made is so important. Is why is this serving me?
Because it was not.
How is it supposed to serve me? What does the end look like? How do we get there? But the why is so important, not just for the gratitude piece, but for our daily lives.
Yeah.
In business, everything.
Yes. Yeah, you can't just tell someone to do something.
Why?
Why are they doing it? And so once I understood gratitude's role and how it affects your brain, it made me realize why it wasn't working for me. Because I wasn't making that connection to that feeling of actually feeling grateful for those things in the moment. I was checking it off the box.
So what is gratitude's purpose and how does it affect our brain?
So gratitude, when you can actually feel it and connect to it, it increases your dopamine levels, which is the neurotransmitter to happiness. So it does affect and influence your happiness. It can also start changing the neural pathways in your brain. So our brains are like this crazy thing to me. I honestly, in another lifetime, maybe my next future lifetime, I want to learn so much about the brain and how it works.
Do you think you'd become a surgeon, or do you think you'd be on the research side?
The research side. What does your brain do to make you think the way you do? And so one of it is our brains are incredible because we don't have to think about breathing, our heart beating. We don't have to think about all of those things that it is doing for us. But because of that, it also has to conserve energy. And so it takes the same pathways over and over again because it's easier, right? So if you would consider yourself a negative person, more pessimistic than optimistic, which is what I would consider myself, your brain is going to go to those negative views before they ever go for positive ones. And so that's what my brain was used to. It always sought out the negative in everything because it was easier. So for me, gratitude was hard. And not because I'm not grateful, but to train my brain to think of positivity was difficult. And because of neuroplasticity, we can actually train our brain to think of positive instead of negative. But I've been doing it for 30 plus years. And I thought just within a few weeks of a gratitude journal that it was all going to change for me. And that's not how it works, because you have to rewrite those habits that over and over and over again. And if you think of them as a to-do list, you're not rewriting anything.
Correct.
You're not changing those neural pathways. You have to feel it. And so I continued my gratitude process, and it has looked very different. I still will write things down at the end of the day, because even in the writing of the down, it's more of the searching. So I choose to do it at the end of the day because then I can really think about in that day. It might have been a terrible day, but if I could come out with 3 things that I am thankful for, it just reminds me of the beauty that I have in my life, the abundance that I'm searching for abundance, but how can I find it right now? It's in my gratitude practice. And so it started there, and it's worked very slowly. In the morning, I have learned just to be grateful that I woke up, that I am breathing on this day.
I love that so much. And I don't think we give our bodies enough grace to even say that. It's unexpected.
It's expected.
And you never know when you're not going to wake up the next day. I could not wake up tomorrow. And I love that you thank your body, thank yourself, thank your mind for helping you get up the next day, because that is so important. And it's something that we, like I said, expect and just kind of take advantage of.
Yeah.
And, it's those little things that you wouldn't think to have gratitude on.
Right.
That sometimes make the biggest impact for us.
Yeah. And when you think about it in terms of like, I think I had always thought gratitude is something that I have. Like, I am grateful I have a house. You don't think of it as
the
like
material thing.
Yes. Right. And since I have expanded my gratitude practice to be way beyond that, like, yes, I wake up and think, thank God I am breathing today, but not everyone can breathe as easily as I can. And so once I started thinking like these things might feel minimal, those are the ones you should be practicing gratitude on.
And not just thank God I'm breathing today. Thank God I'm breathing today without assistance. Thank God I'm breathing today, right? Or
yeah.
I can see.
Yes.
Right? For you, I know even you had LASIK done and now you're having to resort back to wearing glasses a lot. But you have vision.
I have vision.
And you can see, and your legs work.
Yes.
So I'll tell you just a brief story because you brought a memory back for me. When I used to go to church, I remember this one specific time because they would talk about gratitude and what are you thankful for? And they would also talk about not saying negative things, right? Because it's all based on, positivity that you put in your mind. I think I am a very positive person. I'm much more optimistic. I'll go through the positive before I ever touch a negative. But I remember my mother saying, because I was a big dancer, I loved dancing. Without dance, I don't know, dance was my life. And so my mother made it very real for me. I think we were driving and I didn't want to put my seatbelt on. And she said, what if we got into an accident and you could never use your legs again? And I think at first I went, what, She said, what if you could never dance again? What if you could never walk again? What if you could never run again? You need to be grateful every single day that your body works, right? Because there are people out there and their body doesn't work. They're struggling. And so putting that in perspective and yes, thanking my body. And I have hip problems, right? My hips are bone on bone, but every single day I say, thank you so much for not failing me. Because I know at any point they probably will.
Right.
And thank you for still allowing me to dance. If I had hip surgery right now, I probably wouldn't be able to dance still. And so that's why I put it off. I push through the pain and that's okay. My body is still allowing me to do what I love and what I'm passionate about. So I love that you say that.
And writing down the things you're grateful for is a step. But the goal would be for you to be embodied in gratitude. And to do that, you start noticing it throughout the day. Like, I don't know what it was this week. But the sunrise every morning, like when I see that, I am full of all of the feelings of gratefulness to be here, that there's that type of beauty in this world. And that's when I realized gratitude is not the thing that I have. It is all around me. And even on my crappiest day, there is something to be grateful for.
Yeah. I would agree with you 100%. And so yours is watching the sunrise, right? I know you walk around your school. when I drive into the office, I drive in at such a perfect time where I pass over on a bridge and I can look to the left and I see water and the sunrise, and it is the most beautiful sight. And being able to witness that, the fact that the earth still wakes up every day
Yeah.
is thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for letting us live another day, all of us, being able to spend time with family and friends, and everybody is healthy, right? A lot of those things come up naturally, but we don't thank the earth,
right,
for deciding to wake up another day.
Yeah. And it's just in the mundane. Like if we can find beauty and gratitude in the mundane, that is when I think transformation happens. Like as all parents know, fall is chaotic. And this is my first experience having a child in school and a sport. And that is very new to me.
A competitive sport.
It is no joke. And then to live 45 minutes to an hour from work to get home, to get her to, like, I could not do it, physically could not do it if it were not for my neighbor. And like, she picks up my son from daycare. She picks up my daughter from school every single day. She picks Harrison up on gymnastics days. And then she makes sure Callie is ready in her leotard so that we can go the moment I get there.
Wow.
And then usually my husband's not home from work yet. And Harrison is a nightmare at gymnastics. So she keeps him until he gets home.
That's amazing.
Like, I could not do it without her. I literally don't know what I would do.
We talk about our village and how important that is.
Yes. And just to be grateful for like a neighbor. People at work were like, oh, what's your lunch today? I'm like, yeah, my neighbor dropped it off. Like, not everyone has neighbors. Like, most people don't have neighbors like that. Right. And like, I am just eternally grateful. And I think once I started feeling that down to my toes, I started noticing it everywhere else.
And you looked at, I think in the past, you may have looked at, your neighbor as you were burdening them.
Yes.
Because you are not really somebody who asks for help.
Yes.
And so for you to remove the negative thought process of, oh my gosh, I'm burdening this person, to thank you for your help.
And do you know what helped me do that? Gratitude. Because every time I had that thought many, many times, and I would say, thank you. And she said, no, thank you. These kids, I'm going to cry. These kids give me life. And what I'm realizing right now is on this gratitude journey, like I thank her all of the time, but she might be I only thank people after they do something for me. But knowing now, like, the profound effect that she has on me, allowing me to feel unburdened because she shared gratitude, makes me want to go express gratitude to anyone I possibly could. And I think this is how your dopamine hits, because
you're so happy you cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not crying because you're sad.
No.
It's joy. It's like sunlight is inside of you, brightening up, and it fills you with warmth and like an internal hug. And when you experience it, you don't want to let it go.
No.
And it's different from love and happiness. You don't witness, you don't experience those same feelings inside. They're different feelings than you get from this gratitude, this warmth and safety that joy brings, that the gratitude and joy bring.
It's beautiful. And
thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, everyone has a choice. You have to choose gratitude.
I just said this to my son the other day. Every single day, you get to decide how you want it to be. And I do love that saying because it's true. Every day we wake up, we do get to decide how we want it to be. We get to look into our minds and choose the thoughts that we want to fuel our days. We can decide what thoughts to choose. We can decide if we want to be negative today or be positive today. Now, going from negative to positive, it's not easy.
No.
It's hard. It's hard work. But we get to decide.
It's possible.
It is so possible. You can decide your thoughts just like you decide your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
It is a possible thing, and it's definitely something that I continuously do. And I know that you're working on.
And when she says it's not easy, she's not kidding. Like, I think you have had more experience with that, right, than I have. I truly have come from just living in negativity. It was easier to stay there than to get my hopes up and to continuously get broken. But choosing a new way has taken a lot of time. I've been on this gratitude journey for probably years, and I feel like it's just now
resonating.
Yeah.
And hitting home.
Yeah. So don't give up.
It takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah. Thank you again so much for sharing that.
Thank you.
And yeah, don't forget, if the only thing you take away today is this: every day it gets easier, and you do get to decide how you want it to be. And you can't even take a step back. If your brain goes to a negative, you can say, oh wait, stop, let's turn right instead. Let's go to the positive side. How can we reword that in our mind? And when we fill our minds and our bodies with positivity, then our body becomes positive. And the people around us become positive. And you start to notice who is not positive around you. And if you're not already, which I assume you're doing, you do this with your kids too.
Yeah.
It helps them become more positive too, and gives them that path to decide how they want it to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I think that this was a really timely conversation. I wish you the best and happiest and most grateful Thanksgiving on Thursday.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.